And anybody that's watching a Michael Bay movie for character development needs a f***ing head transplant. Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Peter Gabriel, and this is my review of Shockwave. Immediate disclaimer, I appear in this film, so I can't be objective about it, because I know you all come here for the objectivity. I know I do, but let's move on. Shockwave tells the story of an EOD police officer who struggles with the emotional and social consequences of his job. He doesn't sleep too much, but he does drink too much. That don't make you a bad person. As if those things aren't enough to deal with, he's got a relationship with a woman whose emotional reticence is almost as well developed as his own. On top of that, a criminal that Officer Chung almost caught during an undercover operation has taken over the Cross Harbor Tunnel as part of a revenge plot. That's as much of the story as I'm gonna tell you, and if you've seen the trailer, you probably already have most of that information. Speaking of the trailer, I really liked how most of what you see in the trailers occurs pretty early in the film. It made the later part of the film more surprising because a lot of what you see is new. And as long as we're talking about surprises, there are several real shocks, in the movie that made me jump, and I enjoyed that. I can't stand predictability in a movie, and Shockwave is unpredictable at many different points. I also enjoyed playing the easiest and most amusing round of "Where is Jane Wong?" ever. Jane shows up in this movie so often, I feel like she deserved to be on the poster. She certainly deserved it more than I do. Which of these is not like the other? I really liked the way that Song Ja's character was portrayed. Part of it was the character, but part of it was the presentation. She plays a school teacher, and most of her clothing seems to be either brown or gray. She doesn't seem to wear makeup, and she comes across as an incredibly average and almost uninteresting person. And I have to say, I really enjoyed that. I was glad that the female lead in the romantic subplot wasn't anomalously pretty or young. And I honestly don't mean that in a bad way about Song Ja herself. I mean, she's a pretty woman. She just wasn't made to look pretty in this, and she's certainly much younger than I am, but she's not, you know, as young as they might have done for a movie like this, and thank God they didn't. I like the way that Shockwave never seems to stop or pause during the entire nearly 2 hours of running time. I mean, it's so fast-paced, it might give you nostalgia. Shockwave just keeps coming at you just hard and fast and loud. It's the cinematic equivalent of Motorhead, but that's what it's supposed to do. Now, on one hand, that also means that the movie never really develops characters or their motivations. But on the other hand, how well developed are the characters in Die Hard or Bad Boys? Even though all the characters in Shockwave are pointed in short, fast strokes, they can and do still make an impression. I really enjoyed watching Liu Kai-chi play a character so slimy he left a trail. It was great fun watching Philip Kung Ho Man take the Nigel Tufnell approach to his character.
These go to 11.
I enjoyed Wang Ziyi's performance, if only because most of it was performed in a neck brace and an oxygen mask, but he was still good. Even though, I think almost unfairly, he was dubbed into Cantonese when I watched it. I look forward to watching the DVD at least once in Mandarin so that he and Zhang Wu, who plays the main bad guy, can be heard in their original voices. It would be easy to say that Shockwave doesn't make sense a lot of the time and wouldn't withstand even cursory logical scrutiny. But it's also easy to say that Shockwave is big, loud fun that makes at least as much sense as any of the Fast and Furious movies and has as much logical cohesion and character development as a Michael Bay movie. In fact, I'll make you a bet. Give Michael Bay Herman Yau's budget and Herman Yau's schedule, and let's see what he manages to get done. Probably lunch once. I had really high expectations for this movie, even though I'm in it. I felt and said quite frequently that if anybody could make a local blockbuster that worked and succeeded, it would be Herman Yau. His movies often seem like the work of someone who's not just a director, but a magician, considering the resources frequently at his disposal. I don't think anyone else could have made a movie like Kung Fu Angels so watchable. For Shockwave, Herman Yau had significantly more time, money, and talent at his command. And like I had hoped and even assumed, he has created what I think is Hong Kong's first really good blockbuster. It's bombastic and hyperbolic and shameless, but it's not senseless. And thank God for that. Speaking of which, there are enough political and social tweaks throughout the course of the movie that it ends up being grounded in some ways in a very local kind of sense, and I really appreciated that. I was already very grateful and flattered to have been able to take part in this production. Having seen the finished film twice, I'm even more grateful that I got to play a very small part in a local film that has set what I think is a new benchmark for local productions. I honestly can't thank Herman Yao enough for the opportunity to work for him as well as for the film that he made. I really enjoyed Shockwave, even though I'm in it. I think you'd enjoy it too, as long as you realize it's a blockbuster. It's not supposed to make sense. It's not supposed to get you to know the characters. It's not supposed to weave an airtight story. It's supposed to entertain you. And it entertained the hell out of me. So if you have a chance to watch this movie in the cinema, go do it. I was really lucky because the premiere was at the Metroplex and they have the vibrating seats. And Shockwave is all about bombs and explosions, so it was kind of like, woo, it was like sitting in a massage chair. But if you get a chance to watch it in an environment like that, go do it. Otherwise, wait until it gets released to home video or is otherwise available to watch for the exchange of money. Don't steal this or any other movie. When it gets released to home video, I'll update the description with a link where you could buy it. And as long as we're talking about giving people money, I have a Patreon page, and I would really appreciate it if you would go there and click on it. Because you know what? For just a few dollars a month, you could make me really miserable. I'd have to watch Barbara Wong movies if you give me enough money. But it's a lot of money. If you enjoyed this review, please let me know. And if you didn't, let me know. If you think that I stink at playing a bad guy, let me know. Because you know what? I kind of think so too. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.